Howdy, folks. Spencer here, and Cryptic just revealed quite a few very nice quality of life changes that are going to be coming to Stowe over the next couple of months. So, in this video, I want to take a look at the things that they have announced that are going to be coming in the near future, some things that they've leaked, and also some predictions I have for what we can expect from STO over the next couple of months. As always, chapters will be listed down below for those of you that want to skip ahead to any specific topic. And I want to start off going over the things that Cryptic has already publicly talked about and disclosed as things that they are working on or releasing in the near future. The first of those is the Neo Constitution. The Neo Constitution, or the Titan A, was the main ship in Season 3 of Star Trek Picard. And there's been a lot of people wondering if this ship is going to be arriving into the game, and Kale did comment on it in the stream earlier tonight.
The Neoconi or the Titan A, excuse me, is being at least planned, if not worked on right now. So we'll see that eventually.
So that is confirmation right there for all of you that were wondering about whether or not the Titan A or Neoconi was going to be put into the game. And there you have it. It will eventually be arriving into the game. I would expect that we will see it this year. And I would also expect that it's probably going to be a gamble ship. If we look back to season 2 of Picard, the iconic ship there was the Stargazer that went to promo. If we look back to season 1 of Picard, the iconic ships there were the La Sirena, the Inquiry, and both of those ended up going into the promotional box. So I would be very surprised to see this available via other methods. I think, given the trends of what they've done over the past couple of years, I really do expect that this will unfortunately be a promotional ship. But if it is, and if it's released this year, that does mean you can obtain it from the event campaigns in 2024 and any future ones that they do. And the next thing I want to talk about are some changes that they are going to be making to the lithium and energy credit currencies.
What we've got. So what we're doing with tomorrow's changes, and this was Travis's baby and deep dive and fix, is that we're trying to make it so that you can't draw more energy credits and lithium than you can actually hold with the cap. Is that right?
So Kale really summarized it very well there, but they do talk about it in a bit more detail. So I will have a timestamp link down below if you want to take a listen to the rest of the 10 forward conversation there. There's some very interesting discussion that goes on throughout this stream. And basically what they're doing here is they are introducing some changes to the lithium mechanics and energy credit mechanics to try and prevent people from accidentally going over the caps associated with each currency. If you look at energy credits, they actually have a cap of 2 billion that you can have on a character if you have the EC cap unlocked purchased. So the issue that will sometimes happen is someone will go and sell something for like 1.5 billion EC, but then they'll move over 1 billion EC through their account bank. And what happens is they've got 1 billion on that character. And when that item sells, that's worth 1.5 billion. They get they get 1 billion of that, but the other 500 million, because that was over the 2 billion cap, that just goes into the void. So Cryptic is going to be fixing that. And the way that they're going to be doing that is by changing how purchasing and selling on the exchange will be working. So moving forward, after the patch later this week on the 26th or 27th, when you buy an item on the exchange, the item will be mailed to you, and you will have to get it from a mail console. And when you sell an item, rather than the EC being dumped right onto your character, the EC will actually be mailed to you and will only be able to be claimed from the mail console if it doesn't put you over that 2 billion EC cap. So expect a lot of people wondering why they can't grab their gear and DC from the mail here. They'll actually have to go to a mail console, wherever that is on whatever map they're on. So just remember, moving forward, when you buy or sell, you are going to have to make frequent stops to an actual mail console to claim your item or the energy credits. Now, they did comment that the exchange sale mails with the EC attached should be accessible account wide. And they also stated that the exchange mails should not be impacted by you having a full mailbox. These mails from the exchange should always go through no matter what, even if you're at that 200 mail cap. And for the dilithium side of things, what they're going to be doing is they're going to prevent you from going over 10 million dilithium refined on a character. So what you would see happen in some cases is people would have like 9 million dilithium refined on their character. They would go in, sell some more Zen, and let's say they had 9 million refined Dil. They sold some Zen to get another 5 million. Because of the cap being at 10 million, when they went and withdrew that 5 million from the exchange balance here, they would only get 1 million of that, and the other 4 million would go into the void. So the changes that Cryptic is going to be implementing are going to prevent you from being able to pull that dilithium out until you have room on the character to have that much dilithium there. They're also going to prevent it from prevent you from refining dilithium if you're at the cap, and they're also going to have the auto refine from the lifetime membership not refine if you are at that 10 million cap. So all around, these are both some really nice changes, and there are some people saying to pull down, listings from the exchange ahead of this update just to be safe. You can do that if you want, but hopefully when this goes through, that it's just a smooth transition over. But I do understand if some of you want to pull your items down off the exchange until after these changes have went live, just to make sure nothing gets screwed up along the way. And the next thing I want to talk about is something that they are working on to release at some point in the near future. And that is the ability to transfer loadouts from one ship to another. So I'm going to play this clip and then I am going to react to this because, like many of you, whenever I hear loadout, I am extremely skeptical about how well that is going to play out. Just in the past week, I've had to go through and fix a couple of different loadouts where the tray on my build had completely scrambled, so my spam bar had random abilities on it, and spamming that loadout, swap into a different loadout and back, did nothing. So, I'm definitely a bit skeptical going into this, but let's have a listen to what they're saying here.
We're trying to make it so that you can copy a loadout from one ship to another.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and so I need to add some UI to that, but it's a we need to play around with it a bit more to make sure it's working completely right. But Keith wrote the backend for it, and it's supposed to do a best approximation. So, say if you're setting up another escort, you can copy from one escort, and it'll try to apply as much as it can
to that
the full loadout to the target vessel.
I think it's good that they're testing it a bit more. Again, like I was saying, I've had a lot of issues with loadouts, so this is the one thing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them. I think they are well aware that there's a lot of issues with the loadout system, and they talk about it quite a bit on the stream here. But I do remain a little bit skeptical about this. There's still a lot of issues with that loadout system, and it's gotten better in some ways and worse in others over the years. And this would be a very nice change if they can pull this off. This will be a very good boost for a lot of people. It'll make it very easy to go from one ship to the other, especially when you're getting a brand new ship. So if they can pull this off, that'll be great. I wish them a lot of luck with it, and I just again hope that they are thoroughly testing it, which it does sound like they are actually doing in this case, which is good given the history that system has. And the last thing that they announced on the 10 Forward stream earlier tonight is that there is a DPS parser built into the game, and this is something that they actually teased all the way back in February. But with the 10 Forward stream tonight, they revealed the basic commands, and they told us that this has apparently been in the game now for a little bit. So you can type in the command that you see listed up on screen now, and I'll have this down in the description and in a pinned comment if you want to mess around with it more. But this is a very basic parser. You can see that it just provides a very basic set of information there in the system chat. So you type in this command to start the logging, and then this one to view the data. Now, there are a few other commands associated with this, and Cryan did thankfully share them after the stream happened. So I'll have all of these listed down below if you want to mess around with this and mess around with the different variables it has. But I will tell you, based on the stuff that they've shown so far with it, this is still very early on. They've stated that it is still very much needing a UI to make it much easier to read. And they are going to continue working on this internally and pushing out some updates to it over time. So expect this built-in parser to get better over time. But in its current state, it's not going to change anything for the DPS side of things. If you're a DPS player, you're still going to want to use an external parser because the amount of depth you can get looking at the data on an external parser is going to far exceed what you can see on a basic, parse like that. There are, of course, variables again to see a bit more data, but unless they release a really good UI for this, that also saves the combats to look at later on. I still think you're going to want to use those external tools if you're wanting to really chase DPS. Now, I do think that this is really good to have internally in the game, though, especially once they polish it up a bit more. Not everyone is chasing DPS records, so if they have something basic in the game that is easily accessible and doesn't have commands like this that people have to type in every time, if they can get something really user-friendly into the game, that's going to be huge, and especially if they can get this over on console. That is going to be huge for those of you on console that are trying to improve your build, to have a built-in parser like this. So if you are on console, I'm curious if you guys, I don't even know if you guys can type in commands in your chat over there. I really don't know. But if you can, try typing the command you see listed on this notepad at the left and type this top one in before you go into a combat. And then after the combat, type this bottom one in and let me know if that brings up anything in your chat window. I'm curious to see if it's working over there. Again, I don't have a console. I really don't know what it's like over there, but just see if that's working and please let me know. I will be taking a look at this in a bit more detail in a follow-up video, so stay tuned for that sometime in the next couple of days. And moving over to the leak side of things, let me just state right off the bat that everything I am talking about in this part of the video is stuff that Cryptic leaked on 10 Forward streams. Nothing I am talking about here was data mined. This was all things that they showed on streams, so don't freak out about it. Okay, so the first thing here is this early 2023 bundle that has the patrol escort. They teased this back in September or October of last year, and they stated that it was going to be in an early 2023 bundle and that it was going to be an escort. So the patrol escort is a ship that used to get a lot of attention, but there's no tier 6 version of it, and people are very much wanting to see an updated version of that ship. So this bundle I'm going to predict is probably going to drop sometime later in May or early June. If we go back to the leak picture here, you can see that the legendary bundle that we just got here in April was listed as releasing in March. And if we go back to the spreadsheet here and we look at when ships were released last year, you can see that there was a bundle or a ship released in the C store on April 14th of 2022. And sure enough, if you match that up to this year, there was a C store bundle released around the same time frame in April. So if they follow this pattern, then I would say the patrol escort bundle will probably drop sometime in the later part of May or early June. That's the time frame I'm going to guess there. And the other leak we have is from a 10 forward just a couple weeks ago, where Kale didn't realize that he was on the dev server and he was trying to join up for TFOs to just interact with players. And he accidentally showed a unreleased TFO called Leviathan. And this looks like it's probably connected with the last story mission that we got. And I think the prediction that a lot of people have right now is that it's probably going to be like a breach style event or a breach style TFO where we're going in and fighting the things on the seeker there or whatever. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. If it's another normal only TFO, my interest is going to drop pretty much immediately. So hopefully it's a fun queue. Hopefully it's not a terrible time-gated mess. And hopefully it's available on advanced and elite difficulty. I would expect this to release probably sometime in the next month or two. And the last thing is my predictions. So, if you've been around Stowe for a long time, you generally recognize the patterns that start to develop with how Cryptic releases content. And they've even stated as such publicly that, that they're pretty easy to predict over time. So, I have a couple different predictions here to make. And the recent Red Alert announcement where it will be running up through May 9th on PC has pretty much confirmed this to me at least. But I believe we're going to be getting the next content release on PC on May 9th, 2023. So that's right, just under 2 weeks from now, I expect that we're going to be getting 1 to 2 new missions, a new TFO, that Leviathan one, and probably some other stuff. And I do have a write-up here going over some of my predictions, and we can see how accurate or inaccurate these are once these dates hit. But like I said, May 9th, I think the new season will drop. I think it'll have 1 to 2 new missions in the new story arc, which I think is pretty clear to most people is probably going to be leaning into the Borg side of things a bit more. We're going to have that Leviathan TFO, and there's probably going to be some mechanic or a revamp of old content. Hopefully that's not just the exchange quality of life stuff they just announced. Hopefully there's something that'll be more impactful for the wider player base. Now, alongside the release of the season, I'm expecting that we'll probably get a 30-day special event. They've been doing these with many of the recent seasonal releases. And what I mean by like a 30-day event is if we go back and look at last year, there was like the Heart of the Storm mission that ran from May 10th through June 22nd. And basically, what this Heart of the Storm event was you had to go through, do certain things each day, and you would earn progress to get to the Kumarke set. Now, there's other 30-day events that also have had ship rewards. The Mir Gagarin comes to mind. The Somerville, I think, was the one last year. The Mir Somerville or whatever. So they have a history of doing either sets or ships with these seasonal events that they do. And I fully expect that that's probably what we're going to be getting. And if that is what happens, then on PC, that event will be running from May 9th through June 8th. The other option is they could do the third event in the year-long event campaign, but I think they'll probably time that to start up during the summer event. And for the Patrol Escort C-Store bundle, again, I think that's going to be sometime in the late May to July timeframe. If we go and look at the ship releases last year, they did release a C-Store bundle around that time frame. So if they do it as late as they did last year, that's probably going to be July. But given that the leaks again for that were pointing towards the early part of 2023, I'm hoping we see it a bit sooner. Now, the other predictions here are that the summer event will probably be from June 29th through July 29th. And after that, the next season that we get after the upcoming one will probably drop sometime around September 12th. And we'll again have 1 to 2 new missions, a new TFO, probably another 30-day event, and probably another mechanic or a revamp of old content. So that is my predictions for what we should see in Stowe in the next couple of months. And now it's time to see how accurate I am or how wildly inaccurate some of these guesses were. So, make sure to check back and let me know if they were right or wrong as time goes by. But that is going to be it for this video. Again, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. See you guys around.